Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Every Arkansan podcast. We've got my friend Tony Phillips here talking about CityServe. This is something that is going to revolutionize this state. Don't miss it. So Tony, thank you for joining us. It's been a long journey of a decade of the Dream Center, but me having you on my bucket list. I don't know if you've ever been on anyone's bucket list before.
No, sir.
We finally got you this last fall, and so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Let's see, where should I start? So, being on that bucket list for me, I would say that that was a time period that, from a work standpoint, been in retail my whole life. Born and raised here in Arkansas, so love it. Traveled a lot with retail, made my way back, and then was able to kind of land here. And at that time that I started going a new life, I was able to kind of see what the Dream Center is, see who you guys are, and kind of help volunteer. My wife and I own a CrossFit gym, so we do CrossFit. We love fitness. We love people. She was on the worship team for a while, so her son is in Dominican Republic. I've been on the mission field with Mission of Hope in Haiti for about 3 years, and my daughter is going to Oklahoma City University. So we're really proud parents of our kids chasing after their dreams and trying to be out there doing their thing.
So talk a little bit more about like your background and kind of that path that wasn't ministry, so to speak. But you're one of these guys that's always impressed me because you turn everything into ministry. So.
Yeah, so for my past, working in the kind of the retail facet, just coming up in the retail game, working with Champ Sports, Dick's Sporting Goods, and working some of that, I was just able to be able to travel around. I moved probably 17, 18 times from 91 to 2005, so I traveled a lot. So it was just myself and just kind of really learning and working in that field of managing people. How do I start things? What does that need to look like for me? As we were growing up, we went to church, but didn't go to church a whole lot. Just because, my dad was a pilot and some things just in the past, that I didn't know about till my mom and I got a little older to discuss and talk about. So I was just kind of out there and working and just really trying to find my way and just loving on people and doing my thing.
And you really kind of ended up at the church and at the Dream Center in between a job.
Yeah. That to me was, for me, that was 2009, 2010, I was laid off. I've always been on the other side of the table interviewing people and putting people to work. I've never been on that side of the table. So for me, it was kind of an experience of, how does this work? What am I going to do? Trying to go for unemployment. I've never done that before, so I had to kind of check myself when I went in there to do that. And I'm sitting in there kind of like the DMV and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be in here with these people. That's, I've always had a job. So I had to really sit and think and feel, what does that look like for me? So there was a lot of struggles. At that time, my wife and I, were looking to try to find jobs. Like, it'll be easy to find a job, but 2009, it was either a cup of coffee or a gallon of gas, so it was hard for folks to find a job. So that's kind of how I landed at the Dream Center. We were at church one day. I saw you and Kristen on the screen, and I was like, "Hey, babe, do you know them? I'd love to meet them." And I did my first Christmas ball. I think it was December 2011. And I just kind of hung out there and just served security in the corner, kind of quiet. And then it kind of went from there. But it was almost a year trying to find work. But being at the Dream Center, just being with the kids, and they always say if you outserve somebody else, then some of your issues and problems will either go away or take care of themselves, and it did.
And I think that's something important for a lot of people that are between things.
Yes.
To realize is it's like, okay, this is something that's out of your control. You can start driving the ship and doing all that, but a lot of times what people do is they get all in their feels.
Yes.
Woe is me, woe is me. They isolate, they do this. And I think that was one of the cool things during that time. It's kind of like you would come in, it's like, well, I may have this job interview or I may have this, but you were there.
Right.
You weren't saying, oh, that job interview didn't work out and I'm going to just hang out at the house today or go drink my sorrows away or go do this. You're like, I'm going to serve my way through this. And in doing that, it was that coaching mentality that really inspired me, because it was always like, how in the world does he stay so positive? So talk a little bit about how that positivity has kind of been an important part of your life.
Yeah. So, we wake up and our feet hit the ground, so for us, I'm always a guy that's a glass half full instead of half empty. No matter what the issue, the problem, what it may be, at the end of the day, being positive, being able to take care of somebody else, being able to lift somebody else up. I mean, I just really find joy in being able to do that. And I think for me, just kind of my upbringing with my parents and the way that I'm special. My mom used to always say that, you're special. I can finally realize today what that really means, because I would not be here today if it wasn't for the way that my parents love me. There's been a lot of people in my life have supported me. I didn't even know it. I mean, you were supporting me and I'm on a bucket list and didn't know it. 9 years later, here we are, which I think is absolutely amazing that God has this plan for you. And, you got to really think about, what can I do today to help somebody else? What can I do today to outserve somebody else? And I think if we continue to do that every day, things will really work out for you because the plan's written. I think, I had to really focus and wait on, what is your character like? Are you who you say you are? Are you going to show up every day? Because I remember it took me like 2 weeks to get kind of some street cred with the kids. They were like, oh, you're going to be here today and gone tomorrow. So for me, in my heart, I felt like, okay, I need to be here, but they did more for me than what I could ever have done for them. For them, it's somebody to show up. For me, it was like, I have a purpose and my purpose is to serve, and that's why I'm here. So I think, why not be positive? I mean, what else can go wrong,
And then you found a job and you started working, and it was like depression for me, because it's like, well, Tony's gone, there goes the free labor. So,
right.
But you start doing that, and then you opened up a CrossFit box of all things while working a full-time job, and your wife at the time was a full-time teacher.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about kind of that entrepreneurial side that made you decide, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah. So for us, I mean, that was a struggle. It's kind of like, babe, I got a job. I was offered a job. It's like, I didn't want to take it because I've already had a job. I'm like, I'm volunteering at the Dream Center. How can I have a job? So that was a little struggle within itself on my side too as well. But then once we kind of got things going, we had an opportunity to open a facility. We loved CrossFit. We've been doing it for a while. We were dreaming. I remember we started dating. We're like, man, I wish we could own a CrossFit gym. And it's kind of like, can I do that? Do I have the money for it? What does that look like? What should it look like? And then for us, we had that opportunity to put our foot in the door. And the first day that we put our foot in the door to open that gym, we're like, this is going to be our life group. This is going to be where people are going to come in and feel safe, feel welcome. Not only are they going to be physically fit, we're going to try to help spiritually fit, so we're spiritually fit from the inside out. So being able to do that. And then my wife was still teaching. She was an educator in North Warwick School District. And we're like, okay, we're going to go through this summer. As she's off, we'll say in August, if you don't want to go back, okay, that's fine. We'll make it work. I'm still going to work. And we'll see how that is. And there just came a time that she was able to retire. They were changing things in the school district. She's been around for a little while. 2 months later, we knew that. And she got a letter in the mail and was like, all right, there's the answer to prayer. So she runs the gym full time, does a phenomenal job, does all the programming. I'm in the best shape of my life because of her, because of the eating, the health and wellness. So now we kind of balance it where she's able to do that full time. I was able to work and coach in the morning, the evening. And we really treated that as our life group. We ran 3 life groups out of there. If you come into our gym, it is family oriented. Just like we always say, we're not the best gym, we're just a gym. We want you to get up and move and do something. We'll support you and help you as much as we can. Even if you come in and don't like it, go somewhere else, we'll help you find somewhere else. So for us, that's what it was.
we've been friends throughout all
Yeah.
of this. I mean, and I don't know that you've missed a Christmas
Nope.
since then, but came to last year and we were looking at this CityServe thing, and I remember sitting down with my board and they go, well, how are you going to do all this? And I said, well, I said, I got a guy. And it was funny because I said, what about Tony Phillips? And then every single one of them was like, Tony Phillips, yeah. Could we afford him? Probably not. But all of it started to work out, and it was a crazy time because you couldn't actually leave your job for almost 3 months.
Yeah.
Because of where you guys were, and you didn't want to leave
Right.
them and do all that. But it was so cool to see that process and you coming in on your days off and different things. But tell me a little bit about that move, that transition for you from working, and I mean, it was a nonprofit, but it was a business nonprofit,
Yes.
to looking at what we've got going on here. And what about CityServe is like, oh my goodness, this could be cool.
You know, I mean, the first thing for me was like, I'm going to get to do this every day. This is what I'm going to get to do. What I've done my whole life. And, you know, God is amazing. I mean, He set me up my entire life in my career with what I've done and traveled and opened stores and managing and learning and teaching to be able to be in this seat today, being able to understand CityServe and use all those skills that I've been taught and done through the years. It was a little scary at first because, you know, I've always wanted to go, okay, when I go to this job, I know what it's about. Here's my job description. Here's what it looks like. It's all laid out to, okay, I'm going to be able to do that. And I get to do that. But what does that look like? You know, I'm going to be able to dream and kind of be able to do the same thing I've done and be able to build it with a team around me. You know, those couple of months that I've had to kind of transition, I was a little nervous because I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. And, you know, everybody always wants to know, okay, what is exactly that I need to do? What does that job need to look like? But I think it has been the best move that I've ever been able to do in my life. And I feel that I was able to tell some pastors yesterday in training that, you know, we get to do this, and being able to see people come together to be able to reach people for the kingdom is absolutely amazing. And my whole career, I've been doing that and not knowing it. It's awesome.
It was funny because before you came on staff, we had World Vision in town. We went to dinner and we invited you to come. And you were sitting there talking with the World Vision guys that run all of their storehouses around the country. And then all of a sudden, Kaizen came up.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, oh my goodness, they're talking all this warehouse speak and Six Sigma and all these other things. And it's like, we've made the right decision.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, I think a lot of times we don't realize the path that God's had us on has got a greater purpose.
Yes.
We just might not see it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
Right.
So tell me a little bit, just give your interpretation of what CityServe is.
You know, CityServe is kind of behind the scenes. We're able to connect local churches to communities. We're able to give them resources of gift and kind that we have to reach their community. You know, what I feel that CityServe is when I see pastors in a room from different churches working together in the same community to be able to bring people in, because we have a lot of hurting people out there, to invite people to church, to pray for people, to our influencers. You know, we're just behind the scenes being able to connect the dots, really, to be able to be that pipeline with resources and equip the local church to be able to go get people, from them to go instead of waiting for them to come. You know, for us, being, 90 days-ish in, we have 40 churches that are currently in the pipeline, and we wanted to kind of wrap our hands around what does that need to look like. You know, that's absolutely amazing for us to be able to get the goods, store them in our warehouse, partner with local churches, bring the local churches in, and be able to gift and kind them to meet the needs in the community. And people are like, how can you not do this? How can you not want to go help people with this gift and kind to reach people for the kingdom? I mean,
Yeah, and this gift in kind, just to kind of explain it to people, these are large corporations
Yes.
that are giving us product.
Correct.
And so it could be diapers and baby wipes. It could be furniture,
Oh, yeah.
mattresses and couches and armoires and dining room tables for that family that they've never been able to sit down at a table and eat dinner together. But it's also pots and pans
Dishes.
and cookware. It's small appliances. It's lawnmowers and, I mean, building supplies. So that little widow whose bathroom is completely gone, we've got the toilet, we've got the shower, we've got the vanity, all these resources to put in the hands of the local church,
Right.
so that they can go out to that family that just had a baby and say, hey, we love you. We just want to drop these diapers off and see if you need anything else. And all of a sudden, that family's like, no church has ever come to me and given me something.
Right.
Normally, we associate church with, oh, they're going to ask for my money. But no, this is allowing the church to leave the four walls and say, no, we just want to bless you.
Yes.
Oh, your family, y'all got a burnout. And hey, let's help make sure you got furniture when you get moved in, or whatever it may be. And it's so cool to see the empowerment to the local church.
Right, right. We want the local church to be the hero. The local church, if there is a need in the community, the first place they're going to think of is the local church. I'm a grandmother. I now have my grandkids. I need an air mattress. I'm going to go to local church because they've partnered with CityServe and they're able to get an air mattress or the diapers, or the formula, and I think that's going to be something as we move forward that's going to be awesome to see it come together across the state, is that how much more people are going to say, I need to go to a local church. I need help. I need help. I need to go to a local church, and we'll be able to do that.
Well, and I think we had a meeting just recently with the local sheriff's department.
Yes.
And they're coming to us to try to figure out how they can play a part in being a solution for the community.
Yes.
So now we're able to tie the local churches in with the sheriff's department to where it's, instead of the sheriff's department always being the guy that knocking on the door and you're dreading them coming, to where the sheriff's department and the church can come together and say, no, we want to help you.
Right.
We're not here to lock you up. We're here to set you free.
Right. Especially if they're in, their jurisdiction. They know their area the best, more than you and I do. They know the local churches in their area that they patrol. So if there is a need, whatever it could be, they're able to kind of bridge that gap. Now it's the sheriff's department and the local church collaborating together to be able to help that family or help that person. What better way for the community to see them get their hands wrapped around being helped, praying with them, inviting them to church. So I'm super excited about that partnership and what it could evolve into.
And one of the things you talked to me about was how this is bringing pastors in the community together. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Carson Miller is one of our hub directors, and one day we finished a pastor's training. We usually do the training and then we do a tour of our warehouse. It's about an hour and a half training total. So then we finish at the warehouse. One day we were locking up, we finished it, and we walked outside, and there's like 4 or 5 pastors from different churches and denominations just talking. What are you doing in your community? Exchanging phone numbers. 2 of them are talking about, because we can send stuff international. Would you be interested in going in to help send some for shipping and shipping costs? And we're just standing there going, this is absolutely amazing. God is so good to now bring people together from different churches for the kingdom. So we know it's not my church or your church, it's our church. It's the big C. And what does that look like? I mean, we just stood there for like 5 minutes and it's like, this is amazing. And it happens every single time we do a training. There is a connection with different pastors exchanging numbers, and it's amazing.
And then I think one of the things that we often talk about is so many pastors do life alone.
Yes.
Because they live in fear, I'm not perfect. None of us are.
Right.
But when you're in that pastoral position, it gets lonely because it's like, okay, well, I can't really just go to my congregation and say, man, I'm struggling with this, or my wife and I had this fight or whatever. But being able to put pastors together to where they have community.
Right.
is a very powerful weapon. But also to see the benefit to the community, to where this church is over here and this church is over here, and they share community.
Correct.
And people aren't just thinking, oh, XYZ on this corner is the church to go to. They're thinking, oh no, we've got 3 or 4 churches. I mean, this God must be alive, because these guys are working together. They're helping each other. They're doing something greater than just a lonely church on an island. They're,
right,
like you said, that big C church all coming together.
Yeah, and part of our training too with the senior pastors, kind of the overview, is we talk about one of the pillars under CityServe is the CityServe community. Is being able to, like, once a quarter, just get together, hang out, what's working, what's not working, and just kind of really collaborate together, bounce ideas off, share stories, and just really see how we can move forward for the community. What resources do they need? And we can go try to chase after some of those resources if it's something that we don't have, or what we need to do to try to get together to help them. You know, part of CityServe is not just saying, okay, here's some goods, good luck. You know, we train them, we coach them. We also have that CityServe community. So, you know, there's 3 pillars that we really want to focus on and really equip them so they're not by themselves. So they're not just saying, okay, they gave me all this stuff, but how do I give it out? How do I do it? Because we tell them when we give them a tour of the warehouse, they have to break down the walls and be innovative with all the stuff that we have in here. You know, you mentioned a ton of things that we have, but, you know, when we get a pallet of suitcases, I'm thinking it's a pallet of suitcases, right? Let's get them over with the luggage, you know. But when a church came in and some outreach pastors came in that do foster care, that's the first thing they thought about. Or homeless ministry, you know, what does that look like? So we have a lot of goods that can reach a lot of people. We got to be really innovative and work together. So the CityServe community will help with that.
And it's hard to explain just how big this is.
Yes.
Because even in the training, we learned we've got to take them to the warehouse, because there's millions of dollars worth of product sitting there ready for the church to utilize and mobilize their people.
Right.
And there's millions more in the pipeline to be able to really go out there and to create a huge impact on their community.
Right.
And this works for the large church, but this also works if these people are in a church that we got 30 people and we want to see our church grow. We want to help you grow with this stuff.
Right, right.
Go out there and love on your neighbor. I mean, because we talk about from the neighborhood to the nations. We really believe that when people start falling in love with their neighbor, this thing's going to spread not to this nation alone, but to the nations.
Right.
Whether it's Israel or Syria or the Middle East or Africa or whatever it is, it's just that large of an impact.
Right. It's really cool when you're taking a tour of the warehouse and you see a pastor of a church that has 70 to 80 people just start break down and cry. He does homeless ministry. And for him to see the opportunity for his church alone to grow, the money that he's spending with that, the resources that we have, and us to be able to walk alongside him to help him out and help his community and congregation out, it's pretty powerful. You know, sometimes in the morning, you know, we have our crew, we just kind of make sure that we continue to focus on being humble with all that we have been given, and make sure that, you know, from a communication and relational standpoint, we don't lose sight of that. We don't lose sight of all the goods and the millions of dollars. But when somebody comes in our warehouse for the first time and sees it, and you see a pastor break down and cry, you know we're in the right place. You know we are in the right place.
And this is something that we've been blessed to be able to let everyone try.
Yes.
So for all these churches, we're not asking you for money up front. We're not any of this stuff. Come to our training. Senior pastors have to come first.
Yes.
We've got a whole process, and we can give that information on how to do that. But senior pastor, we want to get them on board.
Right.
And then we want to develop the team for them that's going to support them inside the church. Whether your church is 30 or 3,000 people, doesn't matter. We want to give this to you.
Right.
Come, try it out, look at it for 6 months. That could be 6 loads of material. And I mean, when we say loads, I mean, some of these churches are taking box trucks and trailers.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. We want to give you just to prove this works. And then even when we do start asking for something from you, what we're asking is minimal.
Right, right.
we just have to cover that transportation cost to get it here and to get it to them. And so, because we want to invest in the local church.
Right.
We believe that the local church is the answer to a lot of these problems. They're on every corner, so they're in the right locations. They've got the people that know the communities better than I'm going to ever know every community in there. And let's see what kind of spark they can create. Give it 6 months. Just do it.
Right. It's awesome to see, because that's some of the questions they have in the beginning and the training, and we just really reassure them that, the first couple of months we're gonna walk alongside you, help you with the orders. We do not want to be a burden with your order form. I mean, we got it laid out really good, that really you just have to send us what your needs are. We'll pick it, have it ready for you. You'll come pick it up. We'll load it up for you. There's a couple things you got to do on your end from a storage standpoint, but once they see it, what we have seen over the last 90 days, that folks are excited when they come pick up. They're telling us stories. Some of the churches are actually picking up from us and taking it directly to the folks that they're taking care of. And we say we want to hear the stories, how many people were blessed, what does that look like? And we get that information back. It's amazing to see how they're able to say, okay, they're not worried about in 6 months what they have to do. They're like, do I need to start doing that now? And in 6 months it's not working, and things aren't there for you. No harm, no foul. Maybe when things we'll just shake hands, and we'll still be here, a support partner for you. And if you want to pick back up later, then that's what we do. And
I think it's been cool because it's. I remember when Kristen has been doing an Adopt-A-Block program, and there's a little church right by where she's doing Adopt-A-Block that they've kind of tried to get into partnership with them on what they're doing. And when the CityServe products started getting handed out, that pastor goes, "Oh my goodness, y'all have such resources, all this." And she goes, "You can have everything we have, we'll give it to you."
Right.
And he's like, "What? You mean you're another church?" And she goes, "Let me introduce you."
Right.
To CityServe, where this comes from, and you can be doing everything we're at. All these resources are there for you as well,
right,
as us. And then everything that's happened, I mean, we're 3 times further along than we anticipated being, has all been word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
One pastor get in there and said, "Oh my goodness, this is making a difference. Let me tell every pastor I know."
Right.
And it's just kind of mushroomed. So it's an exciting time for me to be supporting the local church. And I know it is for you.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
And we're so thankful that you've decided to join us.
Oh, yeah.
Mark one more thing off my bucket list.
There you go.
Got Tony on the team.
Yes.
But if someone wants to, like, man, I want to jump in with this. I want to get my pastor over there or whatever. What's the easiest way for them to contact you?
They can do it one of 2 ways. Probably the easiest way is just shoot me an email. Tony@ardreamcenter.tv. And then I can shoot them the interest form, and it gets the ball rolling. They can also get us on our social media at CityServe Arkansas. Just DM us, and we can get that. So it's really easy to contact us, and we'll get everything sent to you and get you started.
And we've got training going on all the time.
Yes.
So you missed this one, there's going to be one in a few days.
Right around the corner,
right around the corner. So, and we want to get every church in Arkansas chasing their God-given dream of seeing people come to know Jesus, reaching out beyond their doors, and just truly transforming this state.
Yes.
And then seeing what happens beyond that.
Yeah, we're excited for the next 90 days, seeing these 90 days. So we look forward to all the training and the pastors, and really the stories that come back. That's just confirmation when we get those back. So we're excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tony, for trusting me, jumping out there on faith and saying, "Yeah, I'll give you a try, Drew."
Well, thank you for believing in me for these 9 years, and I never knew that. So here we are today serving together, man. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of the Every Arkansan podcast. Tony and what he was talking about with CityServe, I believe the local church is the answer, and I believe this is going to be something that comes along right beside the local church and helps them reach in to every pocket of our community across this state, seeing more and more people get set free by the power of Jesus.